Hi, I'm Denise Simpson, a master life and leadership coach who helps women step into their authentic and feminine power so they can lead like visionaries, influence with grace, and create a legacy of contribution and service. You'll hear about real leadership clients with real problems, navigating their success in life, business, and career. If you're ready to become a masterful leader, then this podcast was made for you. So let's get started. Hey, welcome. Spring has sprung, my friend. So happy. It's windy here in the ATX. We are experiencing like red flag warning days. I mean, actually, it's been weeks now. So a lot of wind coming through the last few weeks. Really, really bonkers. But it's a gorgeous day today. We had some rain showers early this morning, and now the sun is out and the birds are so happy, and I am so happy. You know, I'm not someone who gets persuaded or influenced by my environment. I keep everything pretty neutral. And today, however, it was nice to just use the sun for some therapy, for meditation. I spent a few hours this morning outside, and I needed to just be connected to Mother Nature, connected to the weather, connected to the plants, connected to the roses, connected to the birds, my pups. I needed that. My soul was calling for that. And I think it's, you know, because of what's happening in my personal life with my husband, he being in Ukraine right now, helping back and forth to Poland and Ukraine. So he is in both those countries multiple times during the week to help refugees and to serve them medically. And you know, I'm always on standby here. I'm always listening to the news. Well, that's not true. I'm not always. Let me be very clear. I do limit my consumption of the news, and I'm very particular with where I get it because, whoa, you know, if it's not bloody or gory, it's not news. And so I have to be very careful with how much consumption and where I consume my information. But I am on standby on the phone. I wait for him to call. He texts, we call, we video chat a few times a week, but we do speak every single day. That was kind of the agreement, was that we would speak once a day at least so that I know he was safe. And I have really needed to focus on my self-care the past week or so. And well, since we last spoke, I know I've been giving you an update since he's been gone. And the update today is that I really needed this new season to really replenish my energy. And I did use Mother Nature today, the grass, the environment, the birds, even, you know, the wind that came through after the rain today, and spending time with the pups to just really disconnect from technology, disconnect from the messaging, disconnect from my old internal ruminating thoughts, my old internal emotional loops. I'm very self-aware of when my brain goes on default mode and all of the negativity that comes rushing up to my conscious mind. And so I need to take good care of myself because I take very good care of my leaders. My leaders are counting on me. And that is my radical responsibility. I take radical responsibility for self-care and to setting the boundaries for myself so that I can really show up for my clients. And boundaries for me look like saying no. Saying, nope, not today. Nope, I'm not going to join you for that event. Nope, I will not take you on as a client. No, I will not do that. No, I will not take that podcast episode. No, I will not be your guest on a video chat. Nope, cannot do that today. And the power of no has been really, really transforming this time around. And I tell my clients, no, say no to people, right? That's a boundary. No, I will not compromise my integrity. I will not compromise my soul. I will not sacrifice myself for this job or that, board position or that, nonprofit work I do. Like, no, 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 no is the best sentence that a woman leader can take on. And I have found that to be really, really powerful in the last few weeks in knowing that I need some additional self-care. And, we women leaders, some of us are people pleasers. A lot of us have climbed the corporate ladder because we want to make sure everybody's happy, and we want to make sure that we do a great job and that they think we do a great job and that we get promoted because they think we do a great job. And so we're making sure everybody's pleased and happy with our performance. And so people pleasing is something that, we share. We share that characteristic. And the power of no being a complete sentence has really, really kept my brain online, has kept my emotional brain also online. I have been emotionally regulated. I have taken even an extra step in watching my nutrition and making sure I consume food that will not, cause brain fog, will not get me anxious or mess with my blood sugar levels. I want to make sure that I'm putting good quality food in my body, and I'm exercising now more than my normal weekly scheduled program. I am really, really being hyper conscious of the self-care I need right now. And the power of no has been very, very important. And so I want to talk to you about the power of no and your particular boundaries as a woman leader, someone who many people rely on, and not just in the organization, but in her private life, as a mother, as a partner, as a lover, as a wife. So it's important that we look at what boundaries you need in all aspects of your life. And the two aspects really that I want to talk about today is your personal life, right? Your motherhood, if you are a mother, or your personal care in your personal private time, in your personal life, and the boundaries that you have in the organization. Are they benefiting you, or are they benefiting others, right? Are you compromising yourself in certain situations? If your CEO asks you to do something specific and it's a weekend event, and he needs you by his side, you don't say no because you feel obligated, which then takes time from your personal life, your family life. And so there you are compromising yourself or sacrificing time with the family for yet another career event. Or what if your child has an obligation somewhere that you need to help him with, or you need to take him into town for? It goes out of your way. It is interfering in family time. It's interfering in your rest time. But because it's your kid and you feel guilty because you don't spend enough time with him, you go and do what he wants you to do, right? So there you are compromising your self-care for this kid that you love. It's exhausting. And then you start, resenting people, and then you start resenting yourself for not having clear boundaries. So the point of today is to talk about your boundaries. I have very clear boundaries when it comes to my clients. I have clear boundaries when it comes to my spouse. I have clear boundaries when it comes to my children. I have very clear boundaries when it comes to my extended family members. I have boundaries for everything, for social media, for email, for media consumption, for news consumption, boundaries for nutrition. I have boundaries for just about every aspect of my life, I think. Yeah. And boundaries are just a way of self-care. It really is. It's knowing what your needs are and loving yourself through those needs. And loving yourself looks like saying no to some people, saying no to some events, saying no to compromising yourself or your integrity. It's putting those boundaries. And that also tells people, oh, she's not to be messed with. Oh, that's right. She doesn't like to be called on the weekend. We'll wait until Monday morning to check in with our boss. Or no, actually it's 5:30 and no, she's on her way home and I'll just deal with it and report to her tomorrow morning. Right? This tells people how to treat you. And I always say, show them how to treat you. That's our job. Show them how to treat us. Do they treat us with respect, or are they breaking boundaries? Are you letting them break the boundaries so they're used to treating you in a certain way and disrespecting you in a certain way, or challenging you in a certain way because you don't have boundaries? And so it's really finding self-awareness of what your needs are in the context of your life, right? Is it in your wellness and nutrition? Is it in your intimacy? Is it perhaps maybe in the organization? So there's always an area of our lives that doesn't get a lot of attention. And there's seasons of that, right? I mean, it's hard to keep up with every single aspect of your life, especially when you're running organizations like you are, or departments or divisions or regions like you are. And so sometimes family life may not be as inspiring and may not be as healthy because you're focused on another area of your life. And that's okay. But I want for us to look across the board here and choose an area of your life where you want to really dive into and focus. It's the one that's probably ailing you at the moment. It's the one that's causing some discomfort, maybe even some pain. And if you're at the level of suffering, just know that we can still do something about it. So what is that area that you want to focus on? And that's the area that we want to evaluate. We want to look at what's the current situation? What is it that I do desire? And what boundaries will I need to get me to that desired state of being? What do those boundaries look like? No phone calls after 5:30 from your staff? No interaction with your staff on the weekends? You telling your CEO or your leader that you can't do something during the week because you have family obligations? Is it you telling your spouse, I don't want any social gatherings in my house when I come home at night? I want to have, dinner on the table at a certain time, and I want for the kids to be in bed by a certain time. And, this may be distracting our routine, and I want you to stop that. Or saying to your spouse, no, I won't do that. I won't do that in the bedroom. I won't do that to my body. I won't do that for you. Or what if it's telling your children, we don't do that after 8 p.m. Or put all your phones right here in this basket and you'll get them tomorrow morning. Here are some boundaries that I'm setting for us, for our mental well-being, so that we can rejuvenate and replenish and calm our amygdalas, calm our brain down and power it down at night so that we can show up tomorrow fully and completely aware and present of our responsibilities, right? What are your boundaries? What do you need to put in place to self-protect, to self-care, to self-soothe, to self-love? So another way of looking at this is, what will I invite more of and less of in my life and in that particular area of your life? What do I want to invite in that's energetic, that's maybe even replenishing, that is rejuvenating? And equally, what is it that I want to exit? What do I want less of? And this will help you formulate what boundaries that you need to put in place and the reasons why it's important for you to put these boundaries. That's a self-evaluation I want you to come to this context with. What do I want more of and what do I want less of right now in this one area of my life? So for example, health and wellness. I want more organic, good quality, nutritious foods. I mean, I have been craving vegetables the last few weeks. I have been craving, fruits and vegetables that are grown in rooted vegetables and rooted, fruits. Like, I don't know, something about Mother Nature to me is really calling me, and anything that it has roots or was grown with a root system has been really just appealing to me. And like, my mouth is watering right now. I want an apple from an apple tree. Like, I want to go pick an orange, pick a lemon, cut open an avocado. Like, I'm like so excited about my vegetables and my fruit intake right now. And trust me, I'm not a big veggie or fruit eater, but I have become a little more connected to rooting myself into really knowing who I am. And I think rooting myself in the power of no has really gotten me to where I'm anchoring and rooting myself into, solid formation. Like I want to be concrete. I want to be solid for my husband while he's away. I want to be solid with my clients, for my clients. Like I want to root myself in the earth. And I think that's the connection I'm making with vegetables and with fruits. Listen, I do a lot of meditation, and for me, it's, visualizing roots into the core of earth and letting those roots just run wild. And that's just the way I connect with the collective consciousness. It's my spiritual practice, and I've always been rooted in that idea of connection to others. And so because of these last few weeks, not having my husband here and not feeling secure, not feeling safe, feeling afraid of his life, for his life, and afraid of, what's going to happen, right? We don't know what's happening. It's just this idea of rooting myself somewhere. And so I'm being called to just filling my body up with these nutritious, delicious fruits and vegetables. Yeah. So that's the connection I made to that. And so that for me is wanting more of that in my health and wellness, in my nutrition. And I want less of the processed food, less of the sugary drinks, the sugary stuff. I want less of that artificial stuff. I want more organic and natural, filling, delicious, nutritious, healthy foods. I want to fill my body, fill my brain, fill my soul, and every cell in my body with nutrition. So I want more of this and less of that. And I want for you to evaluate whatever area of your life that is troubling you or you're having discomfort in, and focus on that question. What do I want more of? And what do I want less of? And do some journal writing. Pen, paper is the best meditative prayer for us. Remove technology, remove your phones, put that aside, and get pen and paper and your glasses if you're like me, and take some notes down. And that's the prompt. That's your writing prompt right now, is to write down what you want more of and what you want less of. So at the top of your page, and I'm doing that now, at the top of my page, I'm putting health and wellness. And on one side of the column, I'm putting what I want more of. And on the other side of the column, less, what I want less of. And start writing down whatever comes to mind, and just jot it down, because this will help you understand what your current narrative is, what your current reality is. And the desired state is really what you want less of. That's where we want to move towards, what we want less of, so that we can become something else, so that we can change a habit, so that we can create a new way of thinking, so we can, isolate a belief that we want to embed, right? That's the desired future state. What do we want less of? That's where you want to go. And knowing that will provide you the information you need to determine what boundaries you need to put in place. And the first boundary I want for you to put in place is no. No is a complete sentence. That's boundary number one. And on the second half of that page, on that same page, second part of that page, write down boundaries as your header. And what boundaries are you going to put in place so that you can have less of this and more of that? So if I want less processed food, my boundary then is no more fast food drive-through stops, no more buying sugary shit at Starbucks, no more, not planning ahead of time, because sometimes there's weeks where I don't plan my food intake and I'm on a whim. I'm like, oh, well, we'll see what happens on this day. I'll just go and pick up a salad. For me, it's salads through the drive-through. I don't do any other crap. For me, it's always a salad, Schlotsky salad or a Whataburger salad. Those are my go-to drive-through things. Starbucks, however, is a whole other story, okay? So what is the boundary that I'm going to put on myself, right? So it's the self-boundaries, and then it's boundaries for others, right? So for others, my husband there's a hell no to buying anything other than salads through the drive-through, right? If he suggests, well, let's go to Chipotle and let's go to, no. There are only two things that I will stand for through the drive-through, and it's a Schlotsky salad and a Whataburger salad. And if he comes up with this other crap, like, well, let's go get pizza. No, we're not doing that. These are my boundaries. And so the boundaries for self are for you, right? To self-honor. Honor yourself. What are you going to do to honor and obey yourself? Those are your self-boundaries versus others and the boundaries you put on them. Again, number one is the no. No is the complete sentence. And then start brainstorming what you need for self-discipline, self-boundaries, and boundaries for others, right? What will you not tolerate anymore, right? Show them how to treat you. That's the idea here. And make it so clear to these people. These are the boundaries. You cross them, we'll discuss consequences, but this is what I want you to obey because you love me and you care about this relationship. These are the boundaries that you will not cross. It's setting clear expectations for your followers, for your family members, for others outside of your brain, right? But you also need to consider self-obeying, right? Self-honoring. Because we dishonor ourselves on a daily basis. We tell ourselves we're going to do something, and then we hold others to a higher standard, but we don't do that for ourselves. So careful with that, my friend. Careful with that. So again, self-boundaries and boundaries for others. Those are the other two columns that you'll put under that second header of boundaries, okay? This is the exercise to bring conscious awareness to what it is you want to create, what it is you want more of, what you want less of, and what it is you'll tolerate or not. This is the conscious work that we do here on this podcast and any work that we do together. It's really bringing your brain online so that you could see for yourself what you've been doing on default. That's all. That's what we do. Lead thyself first. And that's what you're doing here, my friend. All right. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I sure did. Listen, I'm here for you. DM me over at Dr. Denise Simpson. Happy to receive your comments or your DMs. All right. Have a fantastic rest of your week. Take good care. Hey, before you go, I have a special gift to share with you. It is my exclusive guide on the 15 values of a masterful leader. That's right. These values are what drive every decision you make. They motivate every action you take as a leader. So don't leave this to chance. You gotta know what 15 values masterful leaders use to develop their influence, inspire their followers, and impact their organizations. So head over to my show notes, grab this exclusive guide ASAP. It'll be delivered in your email box as soon as possible. I'll see you inside.